welcome to All In with Allie, the podcast for online business owners and entrepreneurs who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. I am so happy you are here. I am hungover today, but not in the way that you would think. I'm hungover from a week that was so emotionally intense for me. I'm still having trouble putting it all into words, and I will, and I'm working on it. But last week, as I record this happened last week. I hosted my Change of Stars, the virtual summit, and I went into last week, completely expectant of miracles and it going the way that I hoped that it would go. But I also went into the week completely unaware of how anything was going to play out. And typically, when I create events, I do it on my own. And I do that for a reason, because I know if I put something on and if I'm in charge, I'm going to do whatever it takes for this to go well, right? But this summit was the first time I've ever done anything at this caliber. And this is the first time that I've ever willingly collaborated and relied and trusted in so many other people. 15 other people I linked arms with for this summit. Now, I know these women and I trust these women. So again, I went into the week expectant that it was going to go well, but also you don't know. And also sometimes things happen one way, you don't realize why until later on in hindsight. But I can happily report that the week genuinely went off without a hitch. There were a few things that happened that I really needed to work through for myself. For the most part, the event itself, the summit itself, could not have gone more perfect. Everything went perfectly. Everything. Everybody showed up on time. Everybody did, for the most part, what they said they were going to do. And we raised so much money for these kids. So much money. And that's the whole reason why I decided to do this summit. I decided to do this summit because I had the goal of raising life-changing money for children in Haiti. Every single dollar of this summit goes directly to a nonprofit called Change the Stars that does boots on the ground work in Haiti. The founder of Change the Stars is in Haiti as we speak, opening a new orphanage. They go multiple times a year. So I wanted that was my whole goal with this. What could we do if we all came together? Not only me and the women who hosted the summit with me, but you and the other ladies who participated in this. Like, what would happen if we all linked arms together and joined our forces for good? What good could we do? And as of right now, we have raised over $30,000. 30. To put this in perspective, a week ago, when I didn't record a new podcast. We posted Allie England's. Anyway, a week ago from now, we had raised, I think, 8, and we've raised over 30. And we're not done, because now the live component's complete, but now it's all put together in a package for instant access. So I'm still going to talk about this because this is probably the highest value coaching package anybody could get their hands on, and it's $33 or however much you choose to give. $33. It is insane. And what we have done so far is insane. And I'm so proud. So all of that to say, I'm hungover in the best way just because it was so much energy. I cried so much last week. Tears of joy, tears of emotion, tears of transformation, tears of faith. I've never felt more connected to God in my entire life. Ever. What I could not have known in doing this is this would turn out to be a massive testimony for my own faith. I'm a believer now, like I could never doubt. Ever. Ever. So anyway, it's a beautiful moment. And I'm so grateful for all of you who joined us in the summit already. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And to those of you who have not joined yet, I would encourage you to go see what's in it for you, because that's important. Go see what you get for $33, or again, however, you can give as much as you want. And we've outlined on the page how far our money goes in Haiti. So you can actually sponsor a child for a year if you want. You can buy formula for months if you want for babies. Well, we have all that. Just go look at the page, because what's in it for you is a coaching package that could last you a freaking year of, hearing from top speakers and leaders in their industries. I'll go through the list in just a second. But on a deeper and bigger level, it's what's in it for them, these kids, that they don't have the power to change the stars for themselves yet, but we get to help them. And Melanie Ann Layer, who is my mentor, actually just signed another year with her, which I'm really excited about. She said something so powerful in her contribution to the summit, which is part of the $33 package that you'll get. She said the beautiful thing is when you focus on changing the stars for somebody else, the byproduct of that is you change your own stars. We all look up at the same stars. And I had never really thought of it that way. And that's why we did this summit in this way. So by joining, you change the stars for yourself and for them and for all of us. All of us. So today is your lucky day, because you get to hear the class that I taught as part of the summit. I'm going to give it to you right here, just to give you a little bit of a teaser. We shared Allie England's last week. I'm going to share mine this week. And it's going to be fantastic. It's going to give you a ton of value. I'm going to teach you, my 3 very best, most potent steps for creating FE money as an online business owner. But if you like what Allie shared last week, and if you like what I share with you, what you're about to hear, that's just 2 of the 16 classes that you get as part of the summit. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So anyway, other classes that you get as part of this, Melanie Ann Layer, like I said, she taught on the God Zone, quantum leaps, and feminine energetics. She absolutely just brought the house down. She was the last speaker, and it was insane. It was perfect, divinely perfect. Kelly Brock also freaking brought it. I mean, everybody, I don't have to say that about every speaker. Everybody brought it. Everybody. Kelly Brock taught on 3 feminine energetic codes for success without burnout. Adele Tevlin blew our minds and taught identity work and reparenting your inner child to reach your next level. Macy McNeely, the founder of Sales Girls, she taught us how to become our own unrecognizable self and be the exact person that people want to buy from. And like I said, I taught my 3 most potent steps in creating FU money for online business owners, which you are about to hear the recording of right now, and so much more. I'm not going to go through the whole list, because you can go and you can get the link and you can see for yourself. It's all outlined on the sales page. You can see exactly what you get. So I'm going to sum it up with this. If you are in a season where you are ready to set yourself up for success in 2026, meaning you are ready to up-level your identity, you're ready to set and commit to a strategy that's in full alignment with the results that you actually want. You're ready to think, play, and be bigger to attract bigger. I need you to understand that if you were to join the virtual summit, you would get instant access to the full package right now for starting at $33. And again, you can give as much as you want. Every single penny of this goes directly to children in Haiti. This nonprofit, we are friends with the owners. Every single penny, they are there. They are boots on the ground. They open orphanages. They support hospitals with now malnourished babies. They create sponsorships and scholarships for kids so that, yes, they're taking care of babies and kids that need the love and the housing and the food and the care right now. But then as they get older, as teenagers, they also get educated so that they can go and change their lives and they can be a positive impact in their country. And if we're positively impacting a country, we're positively impacting the world. That is what we are doing together. Okay. So if you want to be part of that, I will put the link in the show notes to learn more. But in the meantime, enjoy my class from the summit, 3 Steps to Creating FU Money for Online Business Owners. Hello, welcome to Change the Stars, the virtual summit. Day 4. What an incredible week it has been. My gosh, I have all of y'all in front of me and I am in awe how many of you are here that made the time to join me today. I am thrilled. Thank you. I see some new faces. I see some familiar faces. I see so many of you. Thank you for being here. So, if this is your first time tuning in this week, how this works is I'm going to pour my soul out for you in just a few minutes. This is being recorded. So if you have to pop off or pop on, or if you get distracted or whatever, or you just want to come back and rewatch later, you will have the recording forever. So no stress. I got you. It will be uploaded by the end of the day. Shout out to Megan on the team who supports us in that. She's been a game changer support this week throughout this experience. So thank you, Megan. I'm seeing where you guys are watching from. Canada, amazing. Puerto Rico, oh my gosh, Indiana, that's amazing. Yeah, and as you're listening, I love to coach. I want all the questions. So drop them. If I see them throughout and if it makes sense to address them, then I absolutely will. Otherwise, I'll go back after. I've got nothing going on after this. I am all yours. I'll stay here with you all night if you'll let me. So we'll do some coaching after. We're going to get into some strategy at the end. So my hopes is that you will have questions and let me get my hands a little bit on your business because that's what I'm here to do. That's what we're here to do. So that's that. Tomorrow is the final day of the summit. And as many of you know, Melanie Ann Layer is closing us out. Who here, wave at me if you are from Melanie's world. Can I tell you, I was on a call earlier for one of my groups. I see all the hearts. Welcome. I got on my phone when I was done, bombarded by PayPal notifications. Hundreds. I cried. I sent a video to my husband. I said, this is the Melanie Ann Layer effect. And I have a lot to say about this. We're going to talk about this more as we go. And also, I don't want to take, I'm going to do a whole other video. Once we complete this with Melanie tomorrow, I'm going to come on and I'm going to do a final video letting you know how much we've raised so far. It is miraculous. It is miraculous. And that is what I claimed when I decided to do this, to demonstrate the power of good women coming together for a good cause. And we are doing it. So thank you. Thank you for being here for these kids and for you. Thank you. Okay. Let's get started. Are y'all ready? I am so freaking ready. As you're listening, let me know your questions. Let me know if anything lands for you. Just let me know anything. Just let it be a stream of consciousness. I don't care. Just let's play. All right. So some of you know me, some of you are new to me. So allow me to very briefly introduce myself to give you some context of what I'm going to be sharing with you today and why. So I've been an entrepreneur since 2015, and I have been running this business that I have today since 2018. It has evolved drastically over the years. It started as teaching social media, and then it over time evolved to more business type coaching. And my passion, what I've discovered through discovering this for myself and then helping other women kind of organically do it, I figured out that my passion, what literally gets me up in the morning, is supporting women and monetizing the ever living shit out of their genius. By the way, I cuss. So please just prepare yourself. I can't help it. That my thing is monetizing your genius, but your way. That is the most important part. Your way, not my way, not her way, but your way. I call myself a quantum online business strategist because my unique way of supporting you is in aligning your energy and your identity with a custom fit strategy based on your goals and your lifestyle. I have this very unique approach. And when you combine it together, what ends up happening is you collapse time and you bring your extraordinary vision to reality faster. That is what I do. Now, like I've said many times throughout this summit, I hand selected the 15 ladies that you have heard from this week, will hear from this week. This was not a popularity contest. This was simply, and it wasn't based on industry. I wasn't like, let me get a branding person. Let me get an energetics person. Let me get a health person. It was purely based on genuine. This woman knows her stuff. She walks her talk. She's going to deliver. I trust her. She's it. She's in. And something else to note that you might find interesting is I did not tell any of the other 15 women what to speak about in this summit. I left it up to her and to chance. And what's really fascinating is if you've been paying attention, if you're caught up in any way, shape, or form so far, there have been some consistent themes this week, have there not? There's been an emphasis on moving in alignment and creating in alignment what it is that we want. There's been an emphasis on feminine energy, thank God. There's been an emphasis on the power of our energy and authenticity and resonance. There's been an emphasis on accessing and living with a level of freedom. And I don't know about you, but every single one of those speaks to me deeply. I was in it just with like y'all. I was like, I was crying. I was doing the things. I mean, I was a summit viewer just like you guys were. And everything was just like hitting and hitting and hitting. But especially that last one, the emphasis of the freedom. When I think about how I want to live my life, that's like when I really get down to it, that's what I want. That's probably what we all want when we really get down to the nitty gritty of it on some level. I want to feel free. I want to have the time to spend how I want. I want to be able to say what I want. I want to be able to buy what I want. I want to be able to work when I want. I want to be able to sell what I want and work with who I want when I want to. I want to have the freedom to give what I want. But whether you like it or not, freedom comes with a price, as we know. We know this. The key to most of the freedoms that we all desire on some level is a certain level of financial freedom. Yeah, Jessica, freedom to do what I want when I want. Exactly. It's that easy. It's that simple. And it requires a level of a certain level of financial freedom. And at the end of the day, freedom is simply a choice or a series of choices. That's all it is. Choice to buy what you want, choice to live where you want, choice to do what you want when you want, choice of where to send your kids to school, where to shop, where to invest, what to invest in, how much. It all comes down to choices. When you have a certain level of financial freedom, you simply have freedom of choice. That's it. The reason why I was able to make the move on the idea that I had for the summit and join in with all of you and the other 15 ladies that are speaking is because I had the level of financial freedom that allowed for me to choose to dedicate my time to focus on someone else's needs other than my own. I've never had that choice before, not like this. If my bills weren't paid or I was stressed about where the next client was coming from or when the next payday was, I would not have the choice to dedicate my time and energy and be here along with y'all to raise money for something else. My only choice would be to focus on taking care of me and mine. Now, tell me in the chat, who here has a desire to do good in this world? Any desire? Maybe you want to give back to charities like what we're doing here. Maybe you want to start your own. See a lot of yeses. I'm not surprised. That was a silly question. And maybe you want to leave your mark in other ways, like donating your time and wisdom, like the ladies, the speakers in the summit. That's a way of giving back. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to create a documentary. Start a school. Get certified in a modality that you believe in. Coach children. Mentor others. These are all ways of giving back and doing good in the world. But guess what? You do not have to want to give back and do good in the world as an excuse to create financial freedom. You do not have to morally earn financial freedom. Nowhere does it say that. Nowhere is that required. You are allowed to simply want to do good in your world, to expand the choices available to you and yours. That's perfectly allowed too. And by the way, by doing that, you're still going to have a ripple effect. That's still going to make an impact probably way further than you can even imagine. But there's no rule or law that says you have to want to give back in some way morally in order to create financial freedom. Both options, leaving the mark on the world as a whole, like we're doing right now together, or simply leaving a mark on yours, are selfless things to want. And if you're serious about getting it, which I think all of you probably are, you need to be selfless enough to get rich first. Do you hear me? Who here has been taught that wanting to get rich was selfish? I know I did. Propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. I call that a conspiracy, and we don't have time to get into all of that today, okay? But I'm going to sum that load of BS up with this. The more stressed you are, the less effective you are. The more rooted in lack and scarcity, the less effective you are. And the less creative and the less connected to the whole of who you are. The irony of that condition that was seared in so many of our subconsciouses growing up through media and everything else is that when you're in those lower level frequencies of stress, of worry, and all the other things that happen when we are not the level of financial free that we desire to be and that we need to be and that we have an obligation to be, the more selfish you are because you don't have a choice to focus your energy outward. You have to keep it to yourself. That is the definition of selfish. So many of us were taught that it's wrong to have the desire to be rich because so many others are poor. But that's like saying you should feel bad about being healthy because somebody else is sick. That's the exact same thing. You don't cure someone else's illness by getting sick in the same way that you don't help the poor by refusing to get rich. Quite the opposite, actually, on both accounts. Maturing is realizing one of the most selfless things that you can do in this lifetime for you, for your inner and outer circle, and for some of you, the world, is getting yourself to a level of financial freedom. Period. And it doesn't have to be complete financial freedom. It can be whatever level you want, but at least the level of financial freedom that allows you to, number one, be the example of what's possible to everybody who's watching. And there's a lot of people watching you, especially our children. And two, have the freedom of choice to choose what to do next. So, like I said, if you want to do good in the world or simply do good in your world, you need to be selfless enough to get rich, the level of rich that at least creates the life that you want to create. And this is subjective for all of us. It will look different for everyone, but that's what will be required. Now, I like to lovingly call this level of financial freedom FU money. Okay? Because it's the level of financial freedom where nearly nothing can control you. Why? Because you have choices. That's why. That's my definition of FU money. Now, here's a bonus tip that's not even included in my 3 change the stars tips, but this is a really, really big one. It's the difference between FU money and control you money. These are 2 separate things I've learned. Okay. A few years ago, I thought I had achieved FU money in my business. Anybody else here thought that they had hit it? They had made it big? I have FU energy now. I just need FU money. Yes. Well, honey, that's how it starts. You are ahead of the game. Love that, Sharon. A few years ago, I thought, I was like, I'm in. Done. I got it. I was in a season of business where I was earning more money in a period of a year than I had in my entire lifetime. 5-figure days, 6-figure months. I was in a major winning season. Major. It was awesome. But if you listen to Kelly Brock's Change of Stars class, which was the other day, if you've had a chance to listen to that yet, she says something in there. She says a lot of things that are fantastic. But one of the things that she said is absolutely true, which is that your business is going to go through seasons. Absolutely. Okay. When you find yourself in one season, whether it's a winning season or a losing season or somewhere in between, at some point it will change. It's not an if, it's a matter of when. I was in a winning season for so long, I thought I had achieved FU money. I thought I was there. Until life lifed so hard that my seemingly never ending summer drastically turned to winter like that. We totally skipped fall. It was like green, 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 like that. If you don't know the lore behind this story, if you're new, I just had a baby at the end of this year, which is great. We love that. But a month later, I unexpectedly lost my mom. So it was this double whammy, one of which I was not prepared for. Not even close. I needed to grieve. I needed to heal. And when I stopped because I had to, the money stopped. Like that. Thank you, ladies in the chat. I appreciate that. I wanted desperately to have the choice to take space for myself, but I couldn't because the money coming in was purely based on me performing for it. Can anybody relate to that? Maybe you're there now, maybe you've been there before, but do you know what I'm talking about? Because if you know, you know. Okay, Danny gets it. Okay, you guys are picking up what I'm throwing down. It's humbling. Yeah, Christina said it's humbling. That's the word. Boy, was I humbled. and a good thing. Truly, it was a good thing. But at the time, it was really, really hard. And it was in this moment that I realized I had not made FU money. I had made a whole lot of control you money because money controlled me, not the other way around. And this was a really tough pill to swallow and a very new, very difficult season that I now had to navigate that I didn't want to. And in this moment, I made a vow to myself that I would never, ever find myself in that position again. This was you want to talk about change the stars. This was a significant change the stars season moment for me where I had to unlearn everything that I had known up to that point, everything that I thought that was true, everything that I thought was worked and how online business was working at the time, and take massive action to turn this freaking ship around to create different circumstances for me and my family. In this moment, I made a deal with God. God, please, like, if I can figure this out, let me figure this out. And I will tell anybody who will listen. And here we are. With time and focused effort, I refined my business and I was able to shift it from a surface level, seemingly successful business to an actual sustainable one. One that is safe and prepared to navigate any season or cycle that life can and will throw my way. One that gives me choices, including the choice to rest and stop performing if and when I choose, in addition to fun choices like traveling and working when I want, all the things that we want to see as online business owners, why we do what we do. So when thinking of the 3 very best tips that I could share with you today on how to change the stars in your business, it was very clear what must be taught. I'm going to walk you through 3 steps on how to go about creating your own level of FU money to change the stars in your world or as a world as a whole, your world or the world as a whole. Okay, we are going big today. We're going there. I believe y'all can handle it, but if this feels like a little too much, you're not there yet, you can always come back to it later. That is perfect. So how are we feeling? Are we excited? Are y'all ready? Let me know. Taylor said I was on top of the world. Then I got engaged. I started planning a wedding and holding both. It felt so challenging. Yeah. Yes. When you know, you know. When you experience it, it's special. I will say this, just a quick caveat about that season. In the moment, it was awful. And the last thing that I wanted to go through, I felt very victimy many times. Like, why me? Why is this happening? Why can't it just be good? Why can't I keep growing? And now I look at it as one of the best gifts that I've been given in business. It's why I'm sharing with you what I'm sharing with you today. If you are in a rough season right now, decide right now you're going to alchemize the hell out of it. Keep going. The tides will turn and you will get the gold from that. I promise you. I promise you. And everything looks different in hindsight. Everything looks less scary in the light of the day. Okay. So, the very first step in creating anything significant in this world, whether we're talking FU money, whether we're talking about a romantic partner, or whether we're talking about anything that feels big for you, it starts with you claiming it. Not just saying, yeah, I want that. I'm going to do that. I mean, a definitive, visceral choice, a burn the ships type choice. You're in. To create something significant is to say that you're creating something that is far from where you are now. Otherwise, it wouldn't be significant, right? How do you get anywhere far from where you are currently in life? You move toward it. You decide and you move toward it. So I'm currently in Middle Tennessee right now. If I wanted to end up in the state of California, which is pretty damn far from where I currently am, if you're not familiar with map of the US, it's far off, okay? Do you think I'm just going to get in the car and point it to west and hope for the best? Absolutely not. First of all, I don't even know where the direction west is, like at any given point. So, like, that's never going to happen, ever. If I want to get anywhere further than 15 minutes out from where I live, you best believe I'm putting it in the GPS. It just has to happen. And in the decade of being an entrepreneur, I have found that the same is very helpful. The same type strategy and mentality is very helpful in creating something significant in business too. If you have not created the level of FU money that buys you the level of financial freedom that you desire, that's likely a significant move for you. Yes, this is very exciting. It is available, but you will first need to choose it. And then you're going to have to get specific enough on what that specific location looks like in order to put it in the GPS. This is subjective. My level of FU money is going to look different from yours. It's going to look different than Rachel's and Jessica's and Lauren's and Jen's. It's going to look different for everybody. We have to get specific. Okay. Also, the way that I go about creating mine, and this is why I'm so big on custom approaches to our businesses, because the way that I go about creating mine that works for me is likely going to look different, even just a little different than yours. We have different schedules, we have different lifestyles, we have different goals, we have different ways of serving people. So we got to get specific. So again, you're going to want to define this very clearly, because only then do we know, number one, where we're going, and number two, how to get you there. I call this, my loves, your extraordinary vision. Why does it have to be an extraordinary one? Because FU money is not ordinary. Not even close. The average person does not wake up, decide that they want to make a little bit of FU money, and then get on LinkedIn and see if anybody's hiring. It doesn't work like that. FU money requires a choice and then a level of standard to meet it, which we're going to get into. But a definitive choice must be made with your full ass. I can't half-ass drive to California right now. It's going to waste me a lot of time and a lot of gas. Nobody wants to do that. You cannot half-ass decide to make FU money. You're just going to get a little bit of money or some control you money. We're not doing that. So here's another bonus tip that's can change your life if you've never like really sat with this. This is another choice that I would encourage you to make. When it comes to making decisions, be the woman who does what she says she's going to do. Be a woman of your word. Do you know how rare that is nowadays, especially on the internet? How many people talk that talk, make those claims, say they're going to do something, and then have no follow through? When you do this, and you're a woman of integrity, you build so much trust with those watching you. But more importantly, you build trust with yourself, which is invaluable. The way you walk into a room when you know like the power of your decision, the power of you behind a choice, it's confidence that cannot be bought and it cannot be taught. As Mel says, my word is my law. Yes. Yes. That's it. Now, this will mean that you're going to have to be thoughtful and choosy when making decisions. You cannot be a yes person and then follow through with every single decision. You want to be thoughtful. You guys have to understand this. It was the coolest thing. And this is like, it's bringing me so much joy. When I first decided to do this summit, it all started with like, I want to give back, but if I were to partner with y'all, we could make this so much bigger. And I just had this vision of exactly, literally what's happening right now. You want to talk about this is why you set extraordinary visions, because what is happening right now is exactly what I pictured in mind. Good women linking arms and saying, let's do this for these damn babies, and actually doing it. But when I started talking about this with the founders of the group, which are friends of ours, I can understand why they looked at me this way, but they looked at me like I had two heads. They're like, you want to do what? What? Like totally caught off guard. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna link arms with all these women, and we're gonna hand over a 6-figure check. I just know it. Like I really believe it could be that big. And they were like, huh? And I know the reason why they were feeling that way is because I can only imagine how many people they throw these lavish events. By the way, I've heard what happens after these lavish events. They spend all this money. They get the riches of the rich in and around Nashville at these events. And the amount of money that they bring in from these events, we've already surpassed in the summit. And they get all of these people that talk a big game. Yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll talk about it with my company. I'll do this. And then zero follow through. There is nothing more powerful on the planet than a woman who has decided, really decided. No force more powerful. I am positive of it. But the first change the stars step in creating FU money is to define what that looks like in your extraordinary vision. Now, listen, when it comes to your vision, do not overthink this. It's not set in stone. It will evolve. It absolutely will evolve. So don't overthink that. You may get halfway to your goal and decide like, actually, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. Or you may get a quarter of the way there and decide, actually, sharp right, I want to do this thing. Trust. You don't know until you're there. So that's fine. Your vision will evolve. But here's what I so desperately need you to realize when creating this extraordinary vision. If it has been a long time since you have written on paper or said out loud what you will do, decide. That's what deciding is. I will do this. I desperately need you to understand this. Lean in. Everything is available to you. Everything. There is nothing that is off the menu that you can leave out or should leave out of your extraordinary vision. Now, let me give you some FU money options. If you're curious, some of the things you get to choose from. Okay. 4-hour work weeks. It's on the menu. You could make this FU money by being a fashion and style influencer and the next fashion designer of our decade. That's on the menu. You could be the next in-demand IT coach, a top-rated podcaster, a New York Times best-selling author, a fully passive course creator. You could be a poet that makes millions teaching other women about other women in power. Do you know I know somebody who does this? That is a real FU money option on a menu. Her name is Chelsea Diane, Poems and Power, if you don't follow her. You could be an iconic content creator, a direct sales maven. You could even choose to keep your current job because you love it, but then also have a side business to create and bridge the gap with that FU money goal of yours, if that's what you want. I don't care how you choose to go about it, but I so desperately need you to understand that on the menu of the universe, everything that is available to us, every single option is available for you to choose. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your background is. I don't care how your business has been performing or anything. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Unfortunately, so few people understand this, which kind of throws us off, right? Because when we understand this, we look around and we're like, well, why aren't they choosing whatever they want? Hello? Don't they know? Am I the only one that knows this? What are they doing? Right? So few people understand this, which is why they choose again and again, year after year, to stay in jobs that don't fulfill them and relationships that drain them and situations that they've completely outgrown. And it's not because they're not worthy, and it's not because they don't have what it takes. It's because they don't believe in other options that are available to them enough to actually choose them and mean it. That's the only reason. Y'all, this is most people. So the next time you go to define that extraordinary version of yourself, the extraordinary vision of yours, and stop to think, who am I to dream that big? Who am I to choose that when so-and-so who's younger, cuter, more successful, whatever, they don't even choose something that good. Who the hell am I to think that? I'm going to tell you. You are a child of God. God is within you. You are on your own timeline. You are on your own journey. And who the fuck are you not to choose what it is that you want? This is your life. If not you, then who? We don't know why they're choosing what they're choosing. It's not your life, but this is. I promise you right now, God does not have favorites. I believe that. But if he did, I think it would be the ones bold enough and courageous enough and audacious enough to believe that she's worthy of the life and the vision that she co-created with God himself. Who do you think put that there? Fortune favors the bold for a reason. There is a reason you want what you want, because there is a version of you on a different timeline who made it happen. And she is sending you signs and synchronicities and people on your path to help meet her there. Meet her there. Follow it. What do you have to lose? You get halfway and you make some FU money? Oh, darn. Go for it. And you don't have to. It doesn't make you any less worthy or good or special if you stay right where you are. You get to stay right where you are. But the way that I see it is this: you're going to work anyway. We're going to work anyway. So let it be in fulfilling our extraordinary vision versus somebody else's, okay? That's just my opinion. Okay. So, how are we feeling? That's step number 1. How are we on time? My Lord. Okay. I'm going to put some pep in my step. How are we feeling? Are we loving this? Are you bored to tears? Is this working? That's incredible. Congratulations. Thank you. That's amazing. So happy that you have been able to raise me. Thank you. I could stay here all night. Yes, please do. Love it. Okay. So that's your first step in changing the stars and creating FU money. Okay. You got to decide. All right. You need to define your extraordinary vision and then choose it fully. Now, step number 2, to move towards said vision with standards that are excuse me, I got a little ahead of myself. Step 2 to creating this extraordinary vision is you have to move toward it with standards that are a match for it. It is a must. And I have news for you. The only match for an extraordinary vision is exceptional standards. That's the only thing that clicks into gear and unlocks. Keely Jones said something that I loved in her class, which was, to be exceptional, you have to be the exception. And I concur. This is really big. And I have found that this throws a lot of people off of their game, especially if they're newer to creating their own business and or they don't have the community or a support system like other female entrepreneurs who get it. Because at the end of the day, the average person is not chasing an extraordinary vision. The average person is chasing a conventional one. Conventional visions get achieved with conventional standards. Simple as that. And there's nothing wrong with this. One vision is not better or more noble than the other, but they're just different, drastically different. And when you're doing your best to hold exceptional standards, while again, most other people around you are holding conventional ones, you start to feel like what you are, which is an outlier. But if you aren't aware of why this juxtaposition is happening, you feel like a crazy person, or worse, you drop your standards and eventually your extraordinary vision. This happens all the time. They don't do this. They're not waking up at that time. They're not taking care of themselves that way. They're not journaling their limiting beliefs. They're not seeking healing. They're doing this. They're having fun. I guess that's what I need to do. No. I mean, if you want to, but conventional standards get conventional visions. This is why getting in rooms with people like you, like this one, is invaluable. Because exceptional is contagious, but so is average. So what do exceptional standards look like? I'm going to skip that part because let's take it back to our car analogy. Okay. What do exceptional standards look like? They look like a match for your vision. Simple as that. Okay. Now, if my extraordinary vision was to go from Middle Tennessee to California, my exceptional standards looks like getting my happy ass in a car and driving across some states until I cross the state line of California. And the more thoughtful and strategic I am with these moves will determine how I get there and how fast. So here's what I mean. If part of my extraordinary vision is that I take my time and I want to soak up the journey, then my exceptional standards could look like I decide to take the scenic route and enjoy the ride. That's an option. Okay? So maybe I don't rush to
to grow this thing, I decided I'm going to take this one day at a time and I'm going to enjoy myself because my babies are smaller, because it's a busy season or whatever. That's one way of thinking about it. If part of my extraordinary vision is I want to get there as fast as humanly possible for myself, and I want to do it in a very self-made type way, then my standard would be to utilize every super highway, so to speak, on the way in hopes of getting there faster on my own. Okay. So I study, I do the research, I watch the YouTube videos, and I go as fast as I can on my own. If part of my extraordinary vision is that I don't care about doing it alone, I just want to get there in record speed fast, and I have the resources, or I'm going to figure out the resources on how to do that, then I could decide to ditch my car altogether, hop on somebody's airplane, bypass some steps, and get there 10x faster than I could on my own. This is why getting clear on your extraordinary vision is so important. So when it comes to your own extraordinary vision, you have to understand there's going to be many paths to get you there. Many. One is not better than the other, but you get to decide which is right for you. So to get more specific, your exceptional standards are comprised of who you are and the moves you make while making your extraordinary vision a reality. It's you moving in alignment with said vision. I want to get there fast, so I'm going to make moves fast. I want to take my time and soak up the vibe, so I'm not going to rush myself. I want this level business, this level money, so I'm going to make moves and hold my energy in accordance with that vision. That's you fine-tuning that GPS. And the more accurate your standards are with the vision, the faster you'll get there. And the more spot on you're going to land on that vision of yours. So for online businesses, this includes the brand that you build, the content you create, the integrity you hold, the healing you pursue, the personal power that you carry, the boundaries you honor, the body of work that you build, the self-trust and self-worthiness that you cultivate along the way. It's all of who you are and how you move. It's you, it's your essence, and it's your frequency. Betsy said, I want to get there lightning, immediate, and shockingly brilliantly lit up, plus an amazing demonstration to the natural power of source magic for my kids to step back and go, whoa, that is a vision. Well, there you go, Betsy. So Betsy will move in alignment with that, whatever a match for that is. So the next time, here's how we get tested here, okay? The next time you go to complain about posting on social media, okay, because we were born to do what we're here to do. We're forced to be content creators. That's just part of it. So the next time you complain about posting on social media and decide to skip yet another day, instead of talking about the offer that you poured your heart and soul into, I want you to ask yourself, what level vision is that standard a match for? The next time you spend hours a day doom scrolling instead of finishing that certification that you need for your next level that's in alignment with your extraordinary vision, I want you to ask yourself, what level vision is that standard a match for? The next time you don't finish a launch because sales don't look how you want them to day 3 into launch, I want you to ask yourself, what level vision is that standard a match for? Here's a good one that everybody needs to hear. The next time you undercharge for your time because you're scared of what so-and-so will think, I want you to ask yourself, what level vision is that standard a match for? FU money is extraordinary. The only match for extraordinary is exceptional. To be exceptional, you have to be the exception. You have to be willing to do what most won't in order to create what most will never have. We've heard this before, but I hope it's landing differently for you. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. You are going to feel different because you are. This is not a flaw. This is your superpower. You are the exception. But I can't believe that about you. I wish I could. Only you can believe that about you. So do not resist it. Own it. Speak it into existence. By the way, you speak that into existence well before the results prove to you that it's true. By the way, step number 1, you choose your extraordinary vision and you choose it, like for real. Step number 2 is you hold your exceptional standards until you get there. And if you do, you will. You will get there or something better. I promise you, guaranteed. Now, before I share with you number 3, one really cool thing that I have discovered over time in my own business and my clients that do this really well too, is that when you combine an extraordinary vision with exceptional standards, you create exponential results. That's the formula. Extraordinary vision times consistent exceptional standards equals exponential results. Fun. Yes. But as online business owners, we do want to make a distinction here because, like I shared earlier and had to learn the hard way, not all exponential results are created equally. That winning season year of mine that then turned into a major losing season career, or at least what it felt like at the time, I had paired the extraordinary vision with the exceptional standards, and that created exponential results. But exponential amounts of control you money, not F you money. So I did it, but I wasn't specific enough with this strategy. And lucky for you, I learned that lesson the hard way, so you don't have to. Which is why step number 3 to creating FU money and change the stars in your world or the world as a whole is you are going to bypass all of the bullshit sophomoric business steps that aren't necessary and skip to the part that actually creates FU money, aka a sustainable business your way. What does that mean? This means you create a business strategy designed to achieve your FU money goals aligned to your extraordinary vision. So, if you want to work 15 hours a week so you can stay home with your babies, but you also need to be making about 20K net per month to reach FU money status in this season of life, great. Let's design a business around that. You want to travel the world, but need a super flexible schedule to be making enough to bankroll your travel expenses plus pay off your credit card debt? Great. Let's design your business around that. You want to write your future New York Times bestseller, but also coach on the side so you don't have to go back to that old job and you can focus all of your energy towards your creative endeavors? Great. Let's design your business around that. So many business owners get stuck or severely slow themselves down because they do not fully grasp the concept that they can and should custom fit their business to their financial and lifestyle goals, or they just simply don't know how. And that changes today for y'all. And when people don't realize this, they invest in the coach that teaches it to do it their way or the highway, or they waste precious time trying to do it themselves and not knowing how. Or they buy 75 PDF workbooks that are the equivalent to Business for Dummies and wonder why it doesn't work. Or they copy paste their business from somebody else's model. And when it doesn't get them anywhere, like nowhere near the extraordinary vision that they set out for themselves, they take it personally and believe the lie that they don't have what it takes. But that's not true. One size fits all rarely works, and more times than not looks like shit. Custom fit is an investment that almost always pays off and stands the test of time. Your FU money goals and extraordinary vision are unique and deeply personal to you. And they will require standards and a strategy that are a match. So I'm going to make this very, very easy for you. I am going to teach you the extremely simple strategy that took me from control you money to FU money in my own life. And this strategy, what's amazing about it is it's fully customizable based on your own goals and your own vision. You ready? Who's ready? Tell me in the chat. I'm going to get a sip of water. I would say we probably have like 10, 15 minutes left, and then we can do some coaching for whoever wants to hang out with me. Okay. Yay! Okay, let's do it. Perfect. So what I call this, before I show it to you, I call it the rocket fuel strategy. This works for every business and every industry with every money goal and every type of schedule guaranteed. You think I'm playing? I'm about to show you. So let me show you high level what this looks like, and then I'll show you what this looks like with some numbers. We're going to get very specific here. Let me share with you these. Okay. This is your business. Okay. The rocket is comprised of your sustainable offers. Your rocket is comprised of money that stacks, money that ideally increases month after month. These are your clients that are paying you over time. These are your clients that have said yes to you over long periods. You don't have to have long-term offers, but I'm just giving you some ideas here. This is your business as a whole. These are your long-term type containers. How we achieve this FU money status is we grow this consistently over time. We stretch your capacity to hold more energy, to receive more, and slowly or as fast as you want, this gets to grow and gets bigger, 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 goes higher, higher, higher until you're like, we've made it and beyond. That's your rocket. Fuel are smaller offers, not long-term ones, but these are what I call bonus offers. So these are your base offers. These are your core signature strategies, your masterminds, your membership type vibes. These fuel or bonus type offers. Bonus type offers are short, sweet, think masterclasses, think mini minds, think PDFs, little things that you create. It's not the bigger offers, but the goal is to make some money here, but then have these people come into the rocket. They start here, you make some money, and then they come here if they're a good fit for you. And y'all fly off into the ether together. That is what this is. So like I said, your rocket is comprised of base offers, anything long-term or ongoing, anything that ideally gets you a cushion of cash that will stack over time. Recurring revenue, that's what we're looking for. This is how you build that sustainability. This is how, when life's, you get to step away, you get to take your vacation because this is growing consistently over time. And then your bonus is adding to this. It's making you money, and it is filtering out the people that are not a good fit. And then the people that are, they get a seat on the rocket. That is the rocket fuel strategy. So let's play with some numbers here. And if you have questions around this, put it in the chat and I'll come back to it. Let's just play. Okay. So rocket fuel framework, these are your base offers. These are your offers that are here to stay. These are things that typically people can filter in. You don't have to be running them all at the same time. You can have as many as you want, by the way. You can have 3, you can have 5, you can have 1. You can have as many as you want. It's up to you. It's totally customizable based on what it is that you want. But I'm playing here, okay? I'm thinking, okay, what if you had a low ticket membership for those who are maybe a little bit more beginner or they don't need as much support? So let's say that's about $97. Let's say you also had a mid-ticket mastermind that people can come into, and it's a little bit longer term maybe, and that's that price point. And then you have a high ticket private experience, or maybe this is a higher level mastermind, higher ticket. But these are they're mostly here to stay. Usually people can come in and out of them depending on if you're offering them at the time. Okay? And then now here's the deal. With these, with your base offers, you can launch these, you can promote these, but if they're here to stay, right? Like I have a membership called All In Experience, the All In Experience. It's available all the time. I don't want to talk about it all the time. I talk about it here and there, but it's always here. If I talked about it all the time, which by the way, I would love people to come in all the time, but if I talked about it all the time, I would get bored. You would get bored. Nobody wants to do that. So what you can do is you can create these bonus type offers to fuel these offers. This is where you get to play. These are the fun master classes or the mini minds, the flash in the pan fun offers that are designed to get somebody a short and sweet transformation. You warm them up and they get to decide, is Allie my girl or not? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, then I'm going to come into one of these things up here. So let's say right now, let's say starting in January, this is what your offers look like. And I'm going to show you how this works. Let's say in your low ticket membership at $97, currently you have 23 people in there. And then in your mid ticket offer, you have about 12. And then in your high ticket mastermind, which is ongoing and people can come in, it can be capped at a certain number. But right now, let's say you have 8 ladies in there or men, whatever, whoever you work with. All right. So your base revenue, recurring revenue, these are recurring payments over time, is $54,000. Looking good. We like that. That's nice. Okay. It's a good base. Cute. Now we get to add fuel to that fire and we get to grow this number, not necessarily by talking about these things till we're blue in the face because we're over it, but by having fun, right? I'm going to create a new masterclass. I'm going to charge $27 for it. It's going to be juicy. The branding is going to be hot. If you're in Melanie Ann Layers world, you see how this works, right? Branding is going to be so delicious. People are going to be so excited. It's $27. It is a no-brainer. You're going to get a ton of people in there. So let's say 200 people join that. Easy. Okay. And then you decide, okay, after you launch that, you're going to do like a 6-week mini mind to warm some people up to see if they want to come in your high ticket mastermind. So you launch that, and let's say you get 10 people in there because it's exciting. Boom. Okay. Now for the month, you have now earned, with your base revenue that's there anyway that you can expect. Now we've added on an extra 15K plus base revenue plus your bonus revenue. Now you're at $69,000 for the month. And even better than that, because you're smart and you're strategic, and we're not just going for control you money, a percentage of these people right here, your 210 people that said yes, a percentage of these people will say, you are my person. What's next? And you're going to say, I'll put 4 of you here. Oh, 3 of you want to come in here. Great. And 4 of you want to come here. Fantastic. Look at that. Now our base is up to 78. Do we see how this is working? Is this landing? Do you understand the rocket ship? So we have our base. It's set. It's there. But the goal is to grow it over time. This is where we have fun here, yes, but this is where we have a lot of fun. You can do as many of these as you want. You can launch one a month. You can launch two of these a month. You can launch one every quarter. You can do it as big, as little, as sporadic. You get to play your little heart out, but have the strategy for it to link to one of these up here so that you're growing this base revenue. That is the rocket fuel strategy. That's it. It's very simple. Yes, I will absolutely share that with you. Absolutely. With the recording. You got it. So let's wrap this up. And then if you guys have questions, I got you. If you have the desire to be the exception and the one who creates FU money, which please God, I hope you do. Step one, you're going to decide it and define your extraordinary vision. What does it look like? Claim it, declare it. Step number two, you are going to set your standard for all of who you are and how you move to be a match for your extraordinary vision, which is exceptional and consistent over time. And then step number three, you are going to be strategic with your online business in attracting the exponential amounts of FU money versus control money. Control you money. You're going to be smarter than I was. And you're going to have fun while doing it. Okay? Thank you, ladies, for your time today. I'm sorry we went a little over on time. For me, this was actually pretty good, believe it or not. But I hope this was beneficial.
If you are looking for the ultimate personal development and business coaching gift for yourself or for a friend, look no further. The Change of Stars Virtual Summit is it, and it is instant access. So for $33 or however much you choose to give, because all of the sales are going directly to the Change of Stars nonprofit, which benefits kids in Haiti. But for $33, you get instant access to a coaching package of 16 classes hosted by 16 industry leaders. Let me read some of these off to you. For example, you get instant access to Melanie Ann Layer teaching God's Zone, Quantum Leaps, and Feminine Energetics. I taught 3 steps to creating FU money for online business owners. Kelly Brock taught 3 feminine leadership codes to succeed without burnout. Maisie McNeely, the founder of Sales Girls, taught the unrecognizable you, become the person people want to buy from. And there's so much more. You'll also get instant access to Colleen Nichols' class, a class from Julie Solomon, Adele Tevlin, Tara Marino, Keely Jones, Scotty Durrett, Leah Vidrine, Katie Toro, Lan Van Lieshout, Ange Simpson, Bree Groves, and Alexandra England. Again, instant access to all 16 classes right now for $33 or however much you choose to give. And every single penny is going to be donated to the Change the Stars nonprofit. So let me tell you one more thing. When I decided to host this summit, I had a vision of handing over a 6-figure check to this nonprofit that directly supports babies, children, and teens in Haiti. As of right now, we are over a third of the way toward hitting our goal. Let me just tell you how far our money goes in Haiti. Formula for children's hospitals that will then feed dozens of babies, $50. Food and housing for one child 1 month, $125. If you wanted to sponsor a child for a year, food and housing, $1,500. A 2-year scholarship for a trade school, $1,000, and a 4-year degree for a child to completely change their lives and their family's life, $2,500. Together, we have already made what I believe is a star-changing difference for these kids, but I'm not done. And if you have not had a chance to join yet, I am inviting you to be part of this miraculous movement with us. The link to learn more and get instant access is in the show notes. If you have any questions, you can always come find me at Allie Reeves. Thank you for joining us and changing the stars for you and for them.